The FEC, or Federal Election Commission, is in charge of regulating finance in political elections. They have many regulations on elections, including how much an individual can donate to a candidate, a campaign, or a political action committee. To get around this, people create what are called super PACs. Super PACs are not directly tied to the candidates and therefore have no regulations. In the Supreme Court case of Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission, they were found to be constitutional. This is because the Supreme Court said that you cannot take away super PACs because they are protected speech under the First Amendment.
I join my colleagues today to highlight what I consider a significant problem in our country, the unprecedented flow of money into our democratic elections. Over the past several months, a group of us have been working together to address this problem. We have asked the FEC, the IRS, and the FCC to take actions that would help curb the impact of money on our elections. Led by Senator Whitehouse, we have introduced the Disclose Act. This bill would shine a light into the dark corners of the campaign finance system. And Senator Bennett and I have introduced a constitutional amendment, which currently has 22 co-sponsors, to overturn the disastrous judicial opinions that have led to the broken system we have today. In January 2010, the Supreme Court issued its opinion in Citizens United versus FEC. 2 months later, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals decided the Speech Now versus FEC case. These two cases gave rise to the super PACs.
Of course, I don't need to tell any of you the story of Colbert's super PAC. Here's the story. 60 days ago today, on this very spot, a young man petitioned the FEC for permission to form a super PAC to raise unlimited monies and use them monies to determine the winners of the 2012 elections. Can anyone tell me who that young man was? It was me. Moments ago, the Federal Election Commission made their ruling. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to say, we won! And so can you! Now, some people have cynically asked, is this some kind of joke? Well, I, for one, don't think that participating in democracy is a joke. I don't think that wanting to know what the rules are is a joke. But I do have one federal election law joke if you'd like to hear it. Yeah. Knock, knock. Who's there? Unlimited union and corporate campaign contributions. That's the thing. I don't think I should have to tell you.
People of South Carolina are frustrated. It's less than a week before the election, and there's still no candidate for us. Plus, the economy. Thankfully, there is one name on the ballot that stands for true Americaninity: Herman Cain. Americans for a Better Tomorrow believes a vote for Herman Cain is a vote for America.
When you come right down to it, this is not a joke. I mean, super PACs, money in politics, completely out of control right now. And it all does go back not just to what the Supreme Court did 2 years ago, 5-4 majority, Citizens United against the Federal Election Commission, saying essentially corporations are people. And they're also combined with a prior Supreme Court case that said money is speech. Well, if corporations are people and money is speech, the net effect is to open the floodgates to money in politics right now in a way that we haven't seen in this country for over 100 years. And given that we are also in a country right now where a very, very large percentage of total income and wealth is going to a smaller and smaller number of people in this country, they have an open invitation. And you've seen in the Republican primary, some have taken up that invitation to pour as much money as they want into these super PACs that are secret. I mean, right now, nobody knows who is actually putting the money where, and run a huge amount of negative advertising. Well, if you've seen it in the Republican primaries, wait till the general election. You ain't seen nothing yet. I mean, essentially, we're losing our democracy. I don't want to be overly dramatic about it, but that is the only thing that I can say. We have to take our democracy back, Lawrence.
So exactly how much did Colbert's super PAC get away with? Colbert gave away his super PAC so that he could use the Romney line that
I did not have a super PAC run an ad against you. That's, as you know, that's something which is completely out of the control of candidates.
Ham Rove then became the political strategist for the super PAC. It was found after Ham Rove was stabbed to death and eaten by a dog that Stephen Colbert was on his memorial board. It was also found that the exact amount of money that was in the super PAC was now in the memorial, and that Stephen Colbert owned all of it. He gave the remaining super PAC money to Sandy outreach programs. There are clearly not enough regulations on super PACs. So what needs to be done?
So you talk about taking the country back. How would you begin that?
Well, Common Cause, the organization of which I am chairman of the board, and other organizations, grassroots organizations, are now launching a citizens movement across the country to have states really use referenda, initiatives, instructions to Congress to get a constitutional amendment to reverse Citizens United, and also to make sure that money can be restricted in campaigns. We probably do need a constitutional amendment. That's the conclusion that many lawyers and constitutional experts have come to. The Supreme Court, unless we get a radically different Supreme Court soon, and we're probably not all that soon, the way to do it, the most direct way to do it, it's going to take some time, but the most direct way to do it is to have a constitutional amendment.
So please, Mr. President, help us to get a constitutional amendment.